Hey everyone, it's Steve at Kettle Haven Ranch. Thanks for joining me again. This is episode number 3 of our intro to beekeeping. Just the bare basics, bare bones, nothing wild. Just if you want to go out and start your first hive, hopefully you do 2 at a time. That's always preferred. Then you can compare the two health-wise and production. But this series is designed to get you started for your first season. Join me as we discuss tools today and personal tools and equipment that you should have on hand. Coming up next. Hey, welcome back. First thing that the beginning beekeeper needs to think about is their comfort level around the bees and what type of protective equipment they want to have. Definitely gloves I recommend unless you're really comfortable with bees and have worked with them before. And also a minimum of a veil and a heavy shirt. If not, let me grab some stuff to show you. Here's a full size bee suit. I don't think I need to put it on and show you guys. Or I much prefer just the jacket with the attached veil. That works really well. If you use this style of veil, remember to put the ball cap on the inside, the baseball hat. The brim helps keep it off your face and off your nose. It keeps the bees off your nose too. That's a very nice thing to have. Gloves. Gloves come in all different shapes, sizes. I went with the cheapest set I could get when I first started. They lasted about a season. The big problem with your gloves, you get propolis on the fingers and it starts sticking together. If you start pulling that stuff off, it'll end up taking a little bit of the glove with you every time. Sooner or later, you're going to have a hole right where you're probably going to get stung. And that's happened to me a few times also. So, a good set of gloves. Some are ventilated, some just come around the cuff. Some go all the way up the arm like these ones do. Links in the bottom as usual, so you guys can look them up. Then, the Hive tool. Hive tool is very important. Hive tools also get lost. And Santa Claus was good to me this year. In the stockings, 2 different, or actually one in a present, one in a stocking. Santa Claus looked after me. Brand new Hive tools, bunch of different designs, different styles. This particular one has the chisel end that you can use for cleaning off burr comb and also your propolis from the side of the hive. And then you have your little leverage side, which you can get down in between the frames and lift the frames up. And we'll be showing you how to do that in the future too, future video. Great thing to have, love it. Probably the best hack of these as I've seen so far is if you buy a big magnet, not large, but a good strong magnet, put it in the pocket of your bee suit, then you can take the metal tool and put it right up against the magnet and stick it there. It's always handy where you need it. Another item beekeepers use, especially when it comes time to harvest your honey, is the bee brush. It's a light little brush. There's so many opinions out there. Some people say use a feather. Some people say use horsehair only. Some people say don't use horsehair, use synthetic. Whatever you use, it's a light brushing. You're not scrubbing your bees off your comb. So, off the honeycomb, I should say. So it's a light brushing motion just to get the bees off of there. And as you can see, even though people say bees get stuck in there and die, there's no dead bees, and this is well used. Finally, for the video, this portion of the video, talk about smokers. And some people choose to smoke, some people don't. What does the smoking do? Smoking a hive accomplishes a couple different things. The prevailing theories on it is when the smoke is introduced to the hive, the bees have a natural tendency to think of forest fire. And with that, they're going to collect as much honey as they can by eating it and get ready to flee the hive. And they also send out the pheromones to tell the other bees in the hive, don't panic yet, stay calm, stay cool, and we'll get through this. So those two aspects really help the beekeeper, because number one, your bees are engorging on honey, and that makes them a little lethargic right there. And number two, they have the pheromones are not attack the invader, but stay cool, stay calm, we'll get through this. Two things you want as a beekeeper when you're getting in your hive. There are many different styles of smokers. This is just a real basic one. It's lasted a couple seasons. When you get your smoker, it will have a little metal ring that's flat on the inside of it. Okay, this is the bottom, the ash bottom. What you do is you bend your prongs up like that. You open up the lid of your smoker, and that goes like that, going down in. It's a little dirty. And sits on the bottom. There's no way I can show this to you guys on video, but sits on the bottom, elevating the bottom up from the very bottom here, because right there, when you use your bellows, it's blowing air through this outlet here into the chamber, bringing up the smoke as demonstrated. Can't script that. Okay, I'll be showing just in a little bit how to prep this and use it. We'll go through that in this video, because that's probably the most challenging thing, believe it or not, is getting this thing burning and keeping it burning. And I stumbled upon something on the web, works great. I use it all the time. We'll be talking about that coming up. Those are the basic tools that you need when you're starting out. By no means get the impression that that's where you're going to stop. There is so much and so many aspects of beekeeping that will require new tools and require all sorts of different things, from the basic keeping your bees and getting your first couple hives going. That'll all be coming up, but that's just a little bit to get you started. And think about it. Once again, links are in the bottom. And if you like the content that we're providing here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and hit the like button. Okay, when it comes to the smoker and smoker fuel, I've used tons of different stuff, from pine needles that we've gathered on the ground, all the way up to wood chips, old hay, everything else. The best that I have found so far is recycle your Amazon.com boxes. Simple as that. Just a plain cardboard strip like that. And I'm not going to fill this up all the way today, because I don't want this to burn for the next hour and a half. But I'll give you an idea of how it works. You always need to have less in here. In fact, I could have made that smaller. Remember, you got your plate down here that's got to sit on. So you don't want to have it full length all the way up. Go just like that. The plate's in position in the bottom. And I am going to take my cardboard and just wrap it up. Now, some people say tie it up tight. Use bale twine. I wouldn't use the common bale twine that we get, because it's polyurethane or polystyrene or poly something, so it's plastic. I would rather just keep it simple, put it in there, and when I am working the bees, I'll have it maybe twice the size, just a little bit smaller than the opening here to get it in. Goes in there, and I cheat with the blowtorch. Real simple, real quick. Get that sucker going. A little bit more. Just that simple. Look at that. Amazing, huh? So, even that amount that I have in there right now, even though it is fairly loose, so it's going to burn faster, that will still last for a good half an hour or so. I got to get this out of the shop as I'm filming indoors. Safety concerns, especially during the summertime when it's really dry out around flammable materials. Remember, this is an open flame situation inside, even though it's smoldering right now. But also, there's a reason why they have this metal around the edge of the actual canister. That's to keep you from touching, making contact with it. This all gets hot. This all gets really hot. And it's better that you let it burn down a little bit before you do introduce it to the bees. What's coming out isn't that bad at all right now. But be aware when you're setting this down, when you're setting it against plastics, you're setting it down in dry grass. Remember the fire hazard that goes on there. Be wary of that. Look at that. Think of all the years that I fought the pine needles to keep them burning. Amazing. When you're smoking your bees, and we'll show you this in future videos when we actually work on them, you're not going to completely clobber them with smoke. Just a few light puffs right at the entrance of the hive. Let them react to it. Takes them a few moments to get the full effect of the smoke. And as I look here in the shop, I didn't script this very well, did I? We have already a layer of smoke in here. So I'm going to get this outside and we'll continue on looking at some future stuff. Coming up in the next video, we're going to look at frames, both the deep frame and the honey frames and the mediums. We'll be looking at how to make them. We'll be talking about the difference between the foundation frame with the plastic foundation or the foundationless, and then also the wax foundation. I have don't have any handy right now, but we'll be talking about those also. And then we'll be assembling. We'll be taking from the CNC machine end frames that have already been made, cut out, using those along with the top bar. These have been cut out, made here. Will be cleaned up before that video, obviously. And then we have the bottom bar. And we'll be putting those all together with our plastic foundation. Remember, if you're using a Langstroth 10 frame or 8 frame, that's the number of frames you're going to have in just one of the supers that you're using. Every hive, especially on the northern border, needs more than one. So if you need 8 to 10 frames, depending on the size hive you're using, you got a lot to make for a full-size colony to live in and be happy, because they're going to need multiple supers to give them enough room, and also to have enough room for them to store honey for you to harvest. That'll be coming up next in the next video. Hey, I used the iPhone for this one. I'll put a little link up above, a little survey poll question. Yes or no, I appreciate it. GoPro 7 works great outdoors, but inside, even the linear version or view is just a little too wide. Makes things look funny. Anyway, thanks for joining me today, and I hope to see you for episode number 4 coming up next week. Once again, this series is being filmed as we go through the season, so be sure and hit that subscription and notification to stay in the series and notified.